Hello everyone, welcome to another Python short video tutorial. In this video, I'm going to show you how to define an integer and a float in Python. My name is Chenrui. Let's get started. To show you how to define an integer and float in Python, I'm going to create another Python file called int and float example.py. You can use whatever text editor that you like, but I'm going to use Win as an example here. So now I'm inside the new created file. To define an integer is very straightforward. It actually represents the integer, so you can pick a name of the variable. Let's say if we name it the integer 1. And we can assign whatever integer value to this variable. For example, here I can assign 10 to it. So now this integer 1 becomes 10. So now if I print it out, so I save this file and then go to the terminal on the right hand side, which is in the same directory that I create this new file. So I can run this int and float example. So once it prints out the value of variable integer 1, which is 10 in here on the screen. So that's how you define an integer in Python. So that's very easy and straightforward. But what is a float? Float is another data type in Python that allows you to assign decimal number to it. For example, 1.5. So now to define a float in Python, we can specify a name of the variable. Let's say we name it the float2, and we can assign 1.5, which is the decimal number to it. And now if we print it out, this float, and we save this file, and then we run it again, you're going to print out two lines. The first line is the value of integer 1, which is 10. And the second line that I print out is the value of variable float2, which is 1.5. So that's how you define a float in Python. So there's one detail I need to show you. That is, even though the fractional part of a decimal number that we assign to a float is 0, it will still print out the decimal points when we run this file. So let's save this one and run it on the right hand side screen. And as you can see here, the first line is just still 10. That's an integer, so it doesn't have a decimal pointer there. And the second line is number 1. It could consider as an integer, but here, because it's the float type in Python, so when we print it out, it will always print out the decimal point at there. So we know that when it prints out with a decimal point, it's guaranteed it's a float type in Python. Now I just spent some time at 2-line comments there explain what I does in this example code. I'm gonna leave a link in the description below so that you can check out the code by yourself if you like. Alright, I think that's all for this video. We have learned how to define an integer and a float in Python, which we're gonna able to represent the integer number and the decimal number in real world. Hopefully everything makes sense. If it doesn't, leave a comment below and I'm gonna answer you there. Thank you for watching, and I'm gonna see you in next one.